So I want to talk about magic, yo. If y'all had seen the definition that is there, uh, Christ used magic. Most of the prophets use magic. It's using the influences of the world mysteriously, right? It doesn't mean you are lifting up a car with your superhuman power or, magically. It's just saying that you are able to do something that may be unperceivable to the naked eye, right? How does the cabal or the Rothschilds maneuver people in America or control people in America without them knowing it? That is magic. That is where the Kabbalah, that's where Masonry comes in. It's because they will use the wisdom of how these things operate. Now, they don't have to get everybody on their side, right? They get a few people to create enough of a uproar that those that are in the same type of frequency, that is not afraid to attach to a particular frequency, will latch on. It's the same thing as the video I posted last night that is talking about, did they force gangster rap upon us, knowing that in the late 80s, early 90s, we would have never accepted gangster rap for what it was. They had to make it seem that they was keeping us out in order for us to demand to have it. It's the same thing as, you saying to a kid, don't touch the stove, but throughout sheer curiosity and sheer free will, that child will still do it, right? This is what they do with media, with your churches, with the schools. Not everybody is in on it, but those that are in on it keep it a secret. And then the people that are already being trained in that particular frequency will gravitate to it, right? Say you watching, Ren and Stimpy as a kid, 6, 7 years old. I mean, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And then when you're 15, you start to see things that remind you of Ren and Stimpy, and you never really think, where did you get this idea from, right? Where they was doing a whole bunch of homosexual things in that show. That would make kids think that they always been a certain way, but that was just them planting seeds within your head. See, people don't understand seeds, right? A seed doesn't grow everywhere. It grows where it is getting nourished. So, also, the differences between men and women, right? Them taking the men out and then putting women in the role of a man is another place where they disrupted the human and the I don't want to say the particulars because that's not right, but the human aspect of the differences between men and women, right? Women are more emotional. They move off of the feeling, off of emotions. Men are more logical, right? And men can move off of emotions if they have been trained to, or if they, set aside the logical part of their brain, right? It's like that joke that Kevin Hart said where he's like, his girl got punched, he was hiding, and then when they got to the car, he says to her, let's talk about how we could not let that happen again, right? He didn't protect her. He was being logical because he was protecting himself because if he's a small man. Most women, they will move off of emotion and try to hit a bigger man, even if they know that that man can hurt them. You get what I'm saying? So we have fallen away from men and women's roles. See, this is the thing, right? To God, when I say God, I'm not talking about some man sitting on no throne, right? But to God, it doesn't matter if a man or woman makes money, right? We put those labels on these things about making money and women getting degrees and men getting degrees. These are things that were set up by Rothschilds and those that wanted to control the family or humankind. What they call us, Goyim, right? Heathen Gentiles. We have to put these things back in perspective, right? Making money doesn't make you more of a woman. A man making more money than you doesn't make him a man, right? But let me go back a little bit. The reason men need women is because women are emotional and they have a different outlook based off of emotions. Men are logical, so women need men based off of the logical things that they think. Not saying that women can't be logical thinkers. They can definitely train themselves to be. I'm not saying men can't be emotional thinkers because they can train themselves to be. But this is why God says, make two fleshes one, because we are two different aspects. This is one of the Hermetic principles of gender. In gender, in the Hermetic principles, it's not talking about, sex or genitalia. It's talking about polar opposites of something, right? Sun and moon, right? They don't attract each other, but they have their own particular roles within this realm of existence. So it's not talking about good and evil, because, good and evil can be in the same place based off of its perspective, right? So it's talking about like the sun and moon, right? So, or like a negative and a positive charge, right? We need both in order for things to progress and to be in harmony with what the universe wants, right? We pretend that these things aren't really what they are. I mean, really, all of this links to magic, if you understand. If you really look into the sky, right? Really look and pay attention to the sun. Really look at the sun. I mean, some of you don't have to really gaze upon it because, whatever. But really look at it and think. There is no other source of light in this world. There's no other source. That's the only one we have. They got movies and TV shows on other planets have 2 suns and 3 moons, and in this realm, we only have one source of light. Think about how magnificent that is. We chalk it up to random things that these scientists have put upon us, as far as, there was a big bang and we just came about out of sheer randomness. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? We have a whole history of things that we have supposedly forgotten. The pyramids in Central America, the pyramids in all of Americas, the ziggurats in Mesopotamia, in the pyramids in China, the Easter Island where they have heads, crazy big heads, even the heads in Central America. Do you really believe this is randomness? So if we are able to really get back into nature and our gender roles, not saying a woman is to be in the house and do this and do that. I mean, let's be logical about these things. Can a woman protect a man in the streets? Does a man have patience with children as a woman would? Or does a man love children in the way or in the capacity that a woman would? We have to go back to what our ancestors really left for us, because to say that they were just Neanderthals and primitive men, it shows the ignorance that we display and not the ignorance that they had. Because if numbers and letters are the same, right? A would be 1, B would be 2. They're the same. Their intellect is more integrated with the wholeness than ours. We have this what, 9 numbers really, and then you have 26 letters. So you have, what was that, 9 and 26, 35, right? 35 things, letters and numbers that you have to keep track of. But in the Hebrew or whatever other language, the numbers and letters are 1. 22 characters in the Hebrew with 22 numbers. This all goes back to magic and how they manipulate and maneuver the reality that we are participating in. I take you all around the world. It's for you to figure out what I'm talking about. Peace.